Welcome to Wolcen or however the fuck you pronounce this game's name, Beginner's Guide, you Mayhem Miller hating bastards. I'm just gonna call it Wolcen, sounds better. Wolcen has some really unique and interesting mechanics, so this guide will help a lot of you in understanding some of the core things about it. In Wolcen, for example, there are no class archetypes, instead you choose starting weapon that can be changed at any time. Weapon determines playstyle by choosing corresponding skills, since skills are only usable with specific weapon types. Every skill has tags that exactly describe what are the requirements and what resource they use. There are two general categories, attack and spell. Attack skills use rage resource while spell skills use willpower. Cool mechanic in this game is that by using willpower, rage fills up, and vice versa. Value of 1000 at the beginning of the game is sum of rage and willpower that you can have at any given moment. For example, by using spell or potion that grants 350 rage, willpower goes down to 650. So everything lost in one resource is transferred to another, but it cannot exceed sum of 1000, at least during the early game. Willpower works like a basic mana pool, and it is used whenever skill with spell tag is activated. Rage needs to be first acquired either by spending willpower, auto-attacking enemies and using skills that grant rage like Wings of Ishmir. Then rage can be spent by activating attack type skills that require it. Here's the cool thing about dual wielding. By dual wielding both completely different weapon types, you can use skills for corresponding weapon types at the same time. Something you could not do if dual wielding same weapon types. In this case, if I use Catalyst and Dagger, I can use Ether Jump just because of the fact that I have equipped Catalyst as my secondary weapon. So now I can combine Ether Jump with my melee skills that I were using earlier thanks to the Catalyst. During course of the game, many different skills are learned through Enracts. Enracts drop randomly and can be bought from Dimitra. My advice would be, since there are no starting archetypes, is to learn every skill possible, because eventually you can respec all attribute points and passive skills and try completely different build. All skills level up by defeating enemies and acquiring experience. However, leveling up process can be sped up by visiting Dimitra and using Primordial Affinity coins. Primordial Affinity coins are acquired by either visiting Dimitra and selling Enracts, or directly using Enracts from inventory if it is a duplicate, because then it acts like it is sold. Considering the fact that you should always use Enracts to learn every skill, there is no need at all to visit Dimitra to sell them. Just press right click as soon as you see Enract in the inventory and don't think twice about it. Skills have modifiers that can be learned upon leveling them. How many modifiers can be active at once is indicated by modifier points count. The higher skill level, more modifier points are available. Pay attention to how many points every modifier uses as well. In Wolcen there are 4 attributes that do exactly what they say. Important thing to know here is attribute ranking. Attribute with most points into it will grant exponentially more bonus to damage than secondary and tertiary. For example, look at my toughness and agility scores. Only 3-point difference, but I get much more bonus to damage from agility because it is ranked as secondary. Passive skill tree is most important character building tool, and it resembles a lot to Path of Exile. However, there is a twist. Literally. You can rotate all 3 circles of the tree to mix and match how you see fit. This enables a lot of tinkering and may be too much for most people. That is why you should stop playing the game this instant and wait for my builds. Nah, just kidding. Here are some tips on how to create your own masterpiece. Look for larger nodes that do unique things. These are the most important ones because they can significantly change how your character performs and enables various playstyles. So search for the ones you would like to have and go in that direction. Now you might be confused how to do that with all this rotation bollocks. Well, first look at the larger nodes on outermost circle, since those are final upgrades and affect characters the most. After that, check out middle circle nodes. That is how you plan a build in Wolcen. Don't forget that you can always respec, so don't panic too much. Also in this game there are around 90 levels or something like that, so there is enough points to play with. Gems are those crucial added benefits that can make or break endgame builds, so knowing how this system works is of utmost importance. Every gem offers some benefit depending on where it is slotted. Items that have open slots also have description of that open slot. For example, this ring grants support slot with numbers from 1 to 3. If you slot gem into support 1, then it will grant support 1 bonus. Weapons offer offense bonuses from 1 to 3 and armor pieces defense bonuses from 1 to 3. Number of item slots and numbers 1 to 3 can be re-rolled at vendor for a price. Don't forget that there is also cosmetics tab where you can play with your Barbie and Ken dolls and change their clothes. Next to changing skins, there are also dyes found as random drops that can be applied to any clothing piece. Since there is no tutorial screen or some kind of glossary that would explain all the damage types, ailments and so on, you can go to detailed description of your character stats and hover over some of these ailments and status effects and damage types and so on. This is where description of all these things is, and hopefully helps in understanding some of the more advanced mechanics. Last tip would be to go to gameplay settings. Here are a couple of useful options you can turn on. Item level is one of these options, which should be enabled by default, and I have no clue why it isn't. Then we have display health and resource values, which puts numbers to health, willpower and rage. Show damage is important one for testing builds, because without it, it is hard to quantify how much damage you are actually dishing out. In my opinion, also starting HUD is too small, but there is thankfully HUD scaling option that can make it more visible. That would be all for this beginner's guide. I hope this helps, and stay tuned for more videos for this game I don't know how to pronounce.